Hello and welcome to Piney Woods of the East Texas. My name is Jan and you are watching first episode about 1953 Pontiac Chieftain, which is the car behind me, obviously. Um, why I chose Pontiac? Well, has the story a little bit. Most people pick up the car, classic car for the nostalgic reason, and I think I'm one of them. I was born in a very small country in the middle of Europe, which was called Czechoslovakia, which at that time was a part of the former East Bloc. And I was born there, I was raised there, and I went to school there. And when I went to school, um, together with my friends, we were working on the project of converting little Italian car Fiat 127 into electric car. And one of our teachers, he saw us how we were working on the cars. He asked us if we would help him to repair his car. And his car happened to be 1953, not Pontiac, it was Buick Roadmaster. And it made a massive impression on me. It was big, just bigger than anything else I saw before. It has the massive engine, V8 engine. Even the fan on the engine, it was bigger than propeller at that time. So it kind of stayed in my memory. And fast forward, I would say 4 decades later, I was browsing the internet and suddenly I realized, oh, maybe I should look if I can see if there is actually Buick for sale. So I started looking and I found a bunch of those websites which are selling classic cars, and I found some 1953 Buick Roadmaster. However, I had a really hard time to find the car which would meet my specification, if I can say so, because you can buy a car which is ready to drive in perfect conditions. Well, cost a lot of money. On the other hand, you can find a car which you have to haul on the trailer and work on it for 5 years to restore it to the roadworthy condition. Well, I found both on that spectrum. I even find some which I'd say will be good for me. However, they were too far from me. They were maybe in Oregon, maybe in Florida. Simply, I tried for quite a long time and I couldn't really get a car. So I almost gave up, and then, almost like everything what happens to me, it was an accident. I just came across the car which is behind me, and that's that 1953 Pontiac Chieftain. It's not a Buick, but it's from same era and the car which I like. So when I brought the car home, I kind of developed the plan, master plan. So here is the plan. First, of course, I have to work on the car and make it really roadworthy. It actually requires pretty much touching everything mechanical. That's the fun, and actually one of those reasons I wanted to have an old car. The second, when it's all done, and hopefully in some kind of reasonable time, I want to go with my wife on some kind of road trip. I really don't know exactly how that road trip is going to look like. It's not going to be across the states, just something interesting. I don't know yet. I still have a time. And of course, since we live in media age, I decided that I would try, for my entertainment and for my friends' benefits, I will try to make videos. So this is the reason I'm actually making videos. First, I actually should tell you a little bit about about 1953 Pontiac Chieftain. Um, it's one of the models of the Pontiac's first generation. I'm not sure why they call it first generation. Maybe because it was the first entirely new car after World War II, when automotive industry started again producing cars. Maybe, I'm not sure about that. I said it was one of the models. Another model as well, Star Chief and Streamliner. And all these three, they look very similar. They vary in body details. They varied in the engine which was used, and in transmission, but they pretty much were the same style. This first generation was made between 1949 and 1954, and after that there was a totally new design. It kind of exploded, and it was that time when it was a kind of like a golden age of American automotive industry design boom. The car was designed by, I would say, iconic designer. His name was Hurley Earl, and he was someone who definitely revolutionized the design system. He was a big promoter of clay models, and also I think he was actually responsible for the creation of what we call today concept car. He actually was driving one of those. It was, I think, Buick Project Y, I think it was. So anyway, this car, I would say, in my mind, represents typical American classic car from the era between 1946 to 1955. It's bulky. It's has a lot of chrome on it. It has the certain features like you see above the windshield, that visor. It has the curtains over the rear wheels. It has a relatively small windows, and it looks heavy. Concept of the car was also pretty much standard. It has the engine in the front and has a rear wheel drive. It's another thing, it's kind of already forgotten now, but it was a frame, and every component was attached to it. The frame was a main structure member, and body was actually bolted on the top of it. Today this is not the way how the cars are being made. Today it's something which is called monobody, so that means the frame is eliminated and it's totally different. Just, you know, it was the 1950s. Okay, so engine, they use Pontiac used two different engines, actually more, but I would say basic two engines. Both were inline engines. One was 6-cylinder and one was 8-cylinder. Behind that they were using three options. One manual transmission, I don't know if it was a 3 or 4, I'm not sure, but then they were using two automatic transmission. First was a hydramatic, and the second was micro mesh automatic transmission. And then of course front suspension, it was an independent suspension with coil springs and two shocks, each on each side. Rear was again at that time classic elliptical spring with again two hydraulic shocks. Brakes were just the simple drum brakes, hydraulic brakes, but just only one circuit. I don't know if it is the right word to say that. Pretty much if you have some failure in that circuit, you have no brakes. Otherwise, there was really nothing special on that car, except that they were claiming at that time that X-frame is the answer to all problems, it's rigid enough and blah blah blah. The body was made by a company which was called Fisher, which was later bought by GM, and I think it was working till 1980s. I'm not sure about that either. So we can look on the exterior. It's not going to be really detailed, you know, overlook. I just want to only point certain things. As I said, those typical features, the chrome and so on, but there is another one, which is the white wall tires. You can see that this is that what I call curtain. I'm not really sure if it is called curtain. There is a very interesting detail, this one. This is the fin, which was a feature which was used by Hurley Earl for the first time on Cadillac, I think, or the Cadillac 62, and he was motivated by appearance of the American fighter plane P-38, and this is how he kind of transferred the image of it into the car. In the 1960s, these fins became ridiculous, and every manufacturer pretty much had to make car with big fins. Of course, Cadillac made again the largest ones. It was like ridiculously big, and then of course in late 60s it died. So you can see there's one more thing here. If you look on the above this little feature, there's a number 8, which indicates that this engine, this car is using the 8-cylinder engine. Again, when you look on that color scheme, this is not original. First of all, this car, according to the label on the body, was different color. It was just one tone. This car got repainted, and this scheme, it's not even similar to those which Pontiac was making. You can clearly see the transition between the red and white. It's here, which would never be done like that. It still looks okay, and here you can see another kind of like an imperfection in that design. Overall, the car looks, at least the body, looks in pretty good shape. It has, you know, some spots when you can see the paint is peeling off and there is some rust, but none of that rust is going through. I don't really plan at this time to do anything with the paint because I like it. So now we can look inside the car. This is again typical. You see the bench seat with quite of comfortable look. You see ashtray, which was the standard at that time. This seat could accommodate 3 people. The car was actually rated for 6 people. If you look up, you would see the headliner, and it's a really good shape. So I'm glad I don't have to do anything with it, because I'm not good in the upholstery. If you look here on the door panels, again, it looks very nice. I believe it was redone, but it doesn't matter to me, it's pretty. Now we can move to the front seat. Front seat again is a bench type, also for 3 people, so total it's 6. it's adjustable. It can be adjusted only front and back. The back cannot be really adjusted. Has a big steering wheel. Only 2 pedals. You don't really see the accelerator because it broke and I have it just somewhere, so I have to fix it. It's only brake. There is emergency brake, switch for headlights, and I would say again classical dashboard. And you see here something very interesting which you don't see anymore in today's cars, was periscope, which allowed you to see traffic lights, because they were kind of shielded with that oh, I cannot see it, but with that visor. Now you can see the usual stuff, like, you know, battery charger, all the gauges which you needed. Has the radio, which doesn't work. Some oh, it's not the air conditioning, but it's like heating and so on. And clock here, they don't work either. So there is a glove box which I don't have a key to, so maybe there is some treasure. This is how it looks like looking to the back. It looks big and comfortable. There is an interesting thing. So this lever, it's to operate the transmission, and you can see the indicator here. And you see N, which is for neutral. This is the drive. On the left side, it's when it's in this position, it's for driving on the highway. It's using 4 gears. On the right here of this drive symbol, it's using only 3 gears, which is designated for driving in the city. Low indicates like a low gear, but what that really means is, at least this is my understanding, that it's not really using the first gear. It's using when you have a kind of like mud or wet, so you don't want to really transfer too much torque on the rear wheels. And of course reverse. And if you pay attention and you look into your car today, there is something missing, which is the parking position. Well, the way it's done here, when you park the car, shut down the engine, you move the this lever to the reverse condition, and it locks the transmission and prevents the movement. If you want to start the car, you cannot start it here. You have to put it all the way to neutral, and now you can start the car. So now this is a look into the trunk. It's being dominated by spare wheel, but still it's enough room for the luggage. I don't have any tools, or I don't have any jack, so it was located probably here, I assume. I will get some. So it's a nice shape too. You see the carpet, it's a little bit dirty, but who cares really? I will take care of it. That will be enough for today. That means the first episode is over. In the second episode, I want to make it a little bit shorter, and I want to talk a little bit more in details about the engine. It's a very interesting engine, at least from today's point of view. So see you then.